Hello friends and family, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 things that kind of surprised me and a little bit shocked me about restaurants and like drive-thrus and all of that here in Austria. So we're gonna start with number 1, and that is the tip. Like in America, tips are like kind of a big thing, I would assume, especially being a waiter and waitress. I was never one in America, especially in Texas, but this is from my experience. In Texas, we have this big thing, it's called Southern hospitality.
Bless your heart.
And giving like a good tip to someone who really did well in serving you and was generous and all things across the board, nice. We would give them a good tip. And even if they didn't do so well, sometimes you still kind of have to give a tip. You kind of feel obligated to give a tip. And also there's tips like jars in drive-thrus. So drive-thrus I think Sonic, I know I've seen it at McDonald's, Whataburger. I wish they had some in Starbucks because I love going through the drive-thru at Starbucks because every time I go, they're really nice and I want to give them a tip, but I can't. And I'm upset about it. What's really kind of in the system and integrating the system in America with tips is the baseline of giving a good tip is the 20%. And what I mean by 20%, for example, if I paid $14 for food and it's at a restaurant, I would tip 20% of that 14. I can't do math, so I can't tell you that number. I really can't. I can't do it all off the top of my head. But that's what it is. And if it wasn't good service, you would go probably below that, 15%, which is still okay. But then if you go to a really good restaurant and they have really good service, you can go above that if you want to. You can go above the 20%. And sometimes I do. I'm you know what? They worked their butt off. Here you go. Thank you very much. And when I came here, it's completely different. So for example, I tried to pay for the first time a meal with me and Lucas. And he stopped me because he was like, whoa, how it's done here is completely different. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, when the server comes out to you and you're wanting to pay, you have to add in the tip and say what you're paying. For example, they will say you owe, again, 14. You can say, okay, 15. And that means that, okay, I'm tipping you €1. And that's kind of a universal in Austria, kind of language, not language, but universal kind of understanding of that. So for example, if I go to another restaurant and I pay €16.20, well, gosh, it just got really bright. I'm so sorry. The sun is in and out of the clouds today. But if it's 16.20, €16.20, and if I say, okay, €17, and then that means I'm tipping them €80. Sorry, I did math. €80. But I would never do that. I'd go more than that, of course. I just can't do that. But sometimes, I've worked in the cafe down below where Lucas's mom's bakery is, and I've seen, again, and I've seen all the waiters and waitresses working their butts off to, serve to the customers, and they have a great relationship with the customers. But sometimes you have a couple people who they have all these orders, all these food, all these drinks, and it comes to the tip and it's okay, it's $39.90. Oh, they're okay, 40. So they only get 10 cents tip. 10 cents tip for serving them for 2 hours. I'm my gosh. So it's kind of crazy to me, but I know it's a different system here, but it just really shocked me. I was oh my God, I want to tip them. And it was just crazy. Now going to number 2, and that is personality. The personality here is not so different, but it's different in terms of the drive-thru restaurants here. And what do I mean by that is that, for example, in America, I always went to Starbucks and I'm going through the drive-thru, and the first thing the lady says, oh, hi, welcome to Starbucks. How may I help you? I'm hi, how are you? And then she's oh, I'm great. How are you? And I'm I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. And she's no problem. What can I do for you today? And then I just say what I want to order, and we have a go merry day. And I love that. I love, you're talking to someone, making them feel good and asking how they're doing. And sometimes like I've asked people and they actually told me, I'm not feeling so great today, but thank you so much for asking. And I'm like, oh, no problem at all, anytime. Like, you never know who you can make, someone's day better, and vice versa. So when I came here and I went through a drive-thru with Lucas, and it was my first time to like try it out, like by myself, like ordering, and he's right next to me, and I'm like, oh, I can do this, yes. And then I asked him, oh, can I like ask him how they're doing? He's like, no. Do not ask them how they're doing. I'm like, why? Like, why can't I say, hello, wie geht's dir? He's like, no. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, it's not common here, and they will think that you're trying to like scam them or prank them or you want something from them. Like, don't do that. I'm like, really? So it's very just like you pull up to the drive-thru here and they just say like, oh, what would you like? And you say, I would like this, 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 this. And then you go to the next window, pay, and then you're gone. I'm like, there's no connection. There's like no bonding or like, hi. The only time I connect with them is when I bring Bella and they're looking at her like, oh my God, she's so cute. I'm like, yeah, she is. Like, yeah. So sometimes when you bring her multiple times, they recognize her. But yeah, just like, oh, okay, that's it. So that was kind of like one of the things. But the personality wise, in terms of like the restaurants and stuff, is sometimes different. Like sometimes in America, like you really get to know your server or who's waiting on you, and it's really awesome because then you build that relationship. And if you like the restaurant, and you go back there, it's like really amazing. And it's like, when they see you and you see them, they're like, oh, okay, welcome back. It's just great. And that happens a lot. Since I've been here, there's a lot of restaurants that do that. But like I've been to some and they're very like, like very just, okay, go, 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 go. And it's really not like that connection that you have that I liked a lot in America. So it's just something that I just noticed. Number 3 is that there is a traditional restaurant here called a Heurigen. I hope I'm saying this right. I'll put it here. But it is a very traditional restaurant here, and my first experience in one last year, and it was great. And what it is that it's a restaurant that serves only like cold dishes, so like meats, cheeses, like sauces, dips, wine, and like drinks. And sometimes they even have like desserts, like really good desserts, but nothing like really like warm. So for example, it's really cool to go there in the spring and the summer, and even sometimes in the fall and winter. But I really like going so far in the spring and the summer because it's just so beautiful there, especially if you go to one with a beautiful view. Like there was this one that we went to, and it was just gorgeous. It had a beautiful view on it, and that was when my sister was here in the summer, and it was just amazing. And we don't have anything like that, like something very traditional and deep rooted in America. The only thing that's very deep rooted and like traditional in the South is Whataburger, maybe McDonald's, Sonic, maybe, and Texas Roadhouse, which is something rooted for me, and now Chick-fil-A, like all those typical restaurants, that's very deep rooted. Number 4 is honestly something that kind of also showed Lucas when we went to America in December, was honestly the variety and the convenience of restaurants in America. There's so many different brands, so many different chains, so many different options you can choose from in terms of healthy, in terms of not so healthy, but just array of different things, from Mexican, from Asian to Indian to like just so much. It's just great. And here is a little bit different. Like we are about an hour away from Vienna, which Vienna is like the center of a lot of diversity, a lot of different foods you can get there. But we're an hour away, so it's kind of hard to just go there for just like meals. And we live near Krems, and Krems is also wonderful. It's a beautiful city, and I love it because it's not so big. But there's not like an array of different things you can actually get. Like a lot of the stuff you need, like if you want to go somewhere fast, like I miss Chipotle. There's nothing like that here, where it's quick, go get a bowl and come back and you can eat it at home. Nothing really like that. And it's the only thing that we go to that is quick and fast and just easy is Schnitzel Drive-In. That's really quick. But everything else is like sit in and like you have to order it, or you can order it before and go pick it up. But like there's nothing really like that. The only thing here that reminds me of America is freaking McDonald's, and for some reason they have Burger King here, which I'm very surprised because I've never eaten at Burger King, never. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, it's just the amount of like options that I wish we had here, but that we have in America. And number 5. So in America, I think I got it wrong because I think I've talked to my mom about this because we were in HEB, and I know there was like a rule. I think it was 12. I thought it was 12, or maybe now it's 11 or 10. I'm not sure, but there is a rule that you can't buy or even like order a drink before a certain time. And I think it's around noon or around that time. Correct me if I'm wrong. But here is a little bit different. Like you can go buy a beer freaking 7 o'clock in the morning. Or I helped serve at the cafe and people are drinking beer or, you know, other things, other alcohol beverages around 9. And I'm like, good for you, I guess. That's cool. It's a little bit different. I've never seen that before. And sometimes like I'm like, wow, like it's 10 o'clock and Lucas is like, I kind of want a beer. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. So sometimes it's like that. And I'm like, wow, like I just never could. Yeah, it's weird for me, but I've only done it one time in my life where I've had like alcohol or a beverage, like alcoholic beverage before noon. That was probably like 11 o'clock with my family, but no. So I know it's different in America. I don't know if it's all America, but in Texas, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's before noon or 11ish. Like you can't even order like a margarita or anything like that. It has to be after. I think that is correct. And that's why like a lot of restaurants that I like Texas Roadhouse, they open around like 4, 3-ish, sometimes noon, but like afternoon, like in the afternoon, not in the morning. So yeah, and so those are like the 5 things I thought were interesting about restaurants and like things that I've learned here in Austria. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you like and subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.